So Trump's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it, 89% of the counties shifted gears. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that.
Do you think
no,
that those,
don't continue to do that. Find a new strategy.
On the mandate, on Donald Trump and his administration having a mandate, and we have to be super mindful and careful of this because he does not have a mandate. And what I mean by that is if you look at the numbers, just look at the facts, he won with the smallest margin of the popular vote since the 19th century. There was no cocktail, meaning that it is the House is at a razor thin, and he's on his way in the first 100 days to be the most unpopular president in their first 100 days. That is not a mandate.
In 70 years.
In 70 years.
The word man is in there.
Well, that's questionable.
But I guess the question is, does it matter if he has both houses of Congress and the White House?
It does matter because right now we have, what we're seeing in this administration is he's taking a wrecking ball to the government. And what that means, and so that people really understand as folks are sitting here and watching, there are folks who have been fired from the federal government, and now, is our water safe, right? Is our food safe?
Right.
Are the skies?
Right, and the skies, right? We have to worry about getting on a plane. Is that going to be safe?
Is there going to be a pandemic?
Is there going to be a pandemic? And not only that, folks who need their Social Security check, are you going to get it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is real. And they're doing it without concern of the fallout.
Right. They don't care.
Look, the strategy is chaos. It's truly chaos. But we cannot forget, and we have to start asking the hard questions as to what is happening right now. This is a 5-alarm fire. And are we meeting the moment? Because these moments are not normal. This is not normal. It is we have to have a sense of urgency as we move forward. And we cannot do it the way that we've had in the past. We just cannot.
That's right.
Because this is not normal.
This is not normal.
And it's a 5-alarm, as you say.
It is a 5-alarm fire. And if we do not act as if it is a 5-alarm fire, look, he's not just coming after vulnerable communities anymore. That was obviously something that is incredibly problematic. He's trying to make every other community outside of the vulnerable community vulnerable themselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because of what he's going after and what he's doing. Because it's affecting all of us.
Everybody.
All of us.
Education.
Education. And we care about education.
I really miss you, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
I miss you.
appreciate it. Right now, again, 5-alarm fire, we need to move with strategy, with focus, and the Democratic Party needs to actually answer those questions that I put forth. Who are we and what are we fighting
And how do
for?
we meet the moment?
And how do we meet the moment? Look, I also think, and this just goes back to the Democratic Party, who are we, what are we fighting for, what are we standing up for, and we have to answer that question. Good answer.
Thanks, Karine. You've seen all the public polling, people concerned about age. How does the president plan to convince the American people over the next year that 80 is not too old for someone who's running for re-election?
80's the new 40. Didn't you hear?